Good morning, students. How are you? So, after the exams, so we are starting the class. So, I hope you all write the exams very well. So, today, take your book. Before that, so say your prayer. Thank you. நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர் நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர் நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர் நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். So take your social science book and take page number 293. So today also we will continue with the economics. So this is very short lesson. So the employment in India and Tamil Nadu. So after finishing your education, so you will search for a job. So who knows? So in future you may also provide job to someone. So employment in India and Tamil Nadu. So what is the current situation? So we will discuss in this lesson. So which sector gave more job opportunity? So why? So how was the employment sector divided? So we will learn from this lesson. So learning objectives. So what are you going to learn from this lesson? So first, to know the employment structure in India. So first, to know the employment structure in India. Then understand the organized and unorganized sector. So what is the difference between organized and unorganized sector? So organized sector, unorganized sector. What is the difference? You will learn from this lesson. Then understand the distinction between public sector and private sector. So public sector means so the government undertaking sector. So private sector means so the companies or the sectors which were owned by an individual or group of individuals. So that is private sector. Then understanding the changing employment pattern. So why there is a change in employment pattern? So if you see during the time of independence, so agriculture gave more employment opportunity, but now which sector gave more opportunity? So agriculture providing more employment, but when compared to agriculture sector, the other sectors, so people prefer to go the other sectors like secondary sector and tertiary sector. So they like to go for service sector and industries only. So why there is the change? Then to appreciate the case study format. So finally you will learn about the case study, that is a village in Viluppuram district. So there an case study was conducted. So nearly 100 years was conducted. That means so they look after the employment pattern. So that is 100 years before and now. So how was it changed? So we will discuss at the end of this lesson. So learning objectives: to know the employment structure in India. Then understand the organized and unorganized sector. Then understand the distinction between public sector and private sector. Then understanding the changing employment pattern. Then finally appreciate the case study format. So these are the things you are going to learn from this lesson. So introduction. So what are the basic needs for every human being? You have studied in your lower class. So food, cloth, shelter. So the basic need for every human being is food, cloth and shelter. So how can you get these things? So in the present world, so one more essential need has to be added in this list. So apart from food, cloth and shelter, in this world, so in the modern world, one more thing is to be added. So basic need is to be added. So that is employment. So if you get employment means, if you get a job means, you have your food, you have your cloth, you have your shelter. Okay, so employment. So the fourth one, so the basic need for human being is employment. So to survive in the world, we all need employment to earn money. So to survive in this world, we all need job to earn money. So those who are engaged in economic activities, so those who are engaged, those who are involved in economic activities in whatever capacity, so high or low, so they are called as employees. So those who are involved in economic activities, so in whatever capacity, so maybe high or low, so they are called as employees. So people who employ these workers and pay reward for their work are called the employers. So employee means workers. So employers means those who employ those workers and pay reward, so and pay money for their work, they were called as employers. Yeah, so you know the basic need for every human being are food, cloth and shelter. So apart from that, in this present world, one more essential thing is there. Yes, one more essential need is there. That is employment. Yeah, to survive in this world, so we all need employment to earn money. Yeah, so you know, so why we are learning, why you are studying. Yeah, so in future to go for a good job. Yeah, so to get a good job, you are studying. Yeah, so we can say employment is another important basic need. So those who are engaged in economic activities in whatever capacity, high or low, they are called as employees. People who employ these workers and pay reward for their work are called as employers. So labor force of the economy is the number of people in the country who work and also capable of working. So labor force means in a country, so the number of people, so who have the capacity to work or who work, so who are in work, so they were considered as the labor force. So we take the age group of 15 to 60 years for the competition of workforce. So we take the age group of 15 to 60 years. So for as the workforce. So why we take 15 to 16 years? Because people who are less than 15 years are considered as children. So why we take so the workforce, so the labor force of the country as the age group between 15 to 60 years means, so people who are less than 15 years are considered as the children, and the person who have crossed 60 years of age are excluded as they are not physically fit to undertake productive occupation. So above 60 years means they are old age people. So they are excluded because they are not physically fit to undertake productive occupation. If larger percentage of population is accounted by children and old age persons means, then the progress of the country would be very slow as the working force is very small. So if the larger percentage of the population is occupied by children and old age persons means, then the progress, that is the development progress of the country is very slow because the working force is very small. Besides, the small working force will have to maintain the large non-working force for feeding out of the small national product. So if the population consists of more children and old age persons means, then the small working force have to maintain this large non-working force. Okay, so labor force of the economy is the number of people in the country who work and also capable of working. So not only people who are in work, so people who have the capacity to work. So normally we take the age group between 15 to 16 years as the labor force of the economy. Why means, so below 15 years means they are children. See, above 60 years means they are physically not fit to take a job. So to undertake productive occupation. Suppose if a larger percentage of the population is accounted by children and old age persons means, then the development progress of the country is very slow because only very small working force is there. Then apart from this small working force have to maintain the large non-working force. So the net national product in this case is very low. Employment structure in India. So the nature of employment in India is multi-dimensional. So some get employment throughout the year and some others get employed for only a few months in a year. So the nature of employment in India is multi-dimensional. So some may get employment throughout the year, and some others get employed only for a few months in a year. So say for example, so the agri workers, so those who depend on agriculture. So they got job only for a few months. Only at the time of cultivation and at the time of harvesting. So the daily wages, so the agriculture wages got job. So the persons, so who goes for a company or any other work, so they were employed throughout the year. So the nature of employment in India is multi-dimensional. So some get employment throughout the year and some others get employed for only a few months in a year. So the economy is classified into three sectors. So already you know, so primary sector, which was also called as agriculture sector, then secondary or industrial sector, then third one tertiary or service sector. So the economic sector is classified into three, so which you have learned in your lower classes. So primary sector or agriculture sector, secondary sector or industrial sector, tertiary sector or industrial service sector. So the structure of employment denotes the number of workers engaged in different sectors of the economy. So the structure of the employment denotes the number of workers engaged in different sectors of the economy. Though the occupational pattern varies from one country to another, one can find in developing countries like India that a large workforce will be engaged in primary sector while a small proportion in secondary and tertiary sector. So if you see the economic pattern, you can see that in case of developing countries like India, so a larger workforce will be engaged in primary sector while a small proportion involved in secondary and tertiary sector. But if you take developed countries so like United Kingdom, United States of America, so the proportion of workforce engaged in agriculture will be very small. You can see in this picture. So the working force involved in agriculture in case of developed countries is very small, and a majority of labor force will be in the industrial and tertiary sector. So if you take in developing countries, larger workforce will be engaged in primary activities, while in developed countries, larger workforce engaged in industrial and tertiary, that is service sector. So employment has always featured as an important element of development policy in India. So employment has featured as an important element of development policy. So in first lesson, you have learned about development policy. Those who are in good job, so they can satisfy their need. They can got the things whatever they need. During the past 4 years, so since 1972 to 1973, so for past 4 decades, so employment growth has increased at an average rate of 2% during the past 4 decades, since 1972 to 1973. So next, types of employment. So employment, so types, there are 2 types. One is organized sector and another one is unorganized sector. So types of sector. So first you learn about organized sector, then about unorganized sector. So in the medieval period, so Firoz Shah Tughlaq, a king belonged to Tughlaq dynasty. So the Sultan of Delhi had set up an employment bureau to solve the unemployment problem. So in medieval India, so the Sultan of Delhi, Firoz Shah Tughlaq, had set up an department, so employment bureau, to solve an unemployment problem. To solve the problem of unemployment, he set up an employment bureau. So then the types of employment, so organized and unorganized sectors. So organized sector, what do you mean by organized sector? So the organized sector is one that is incorporated with appropriate authority or government and follows appropriate rules and regulations. So organized sector means so which is incorporated with an appropriate authority, with a suitable authority or a government, and they follow rules and regulations. In short, organized sectors are those which are deliberately planned, designed and duly sanctioned by the competent authority. So organized sector means so they are well planned, so they are well designed, so they are sanctioned by the competent authority, so they are formal by nature. In India, employees of central and state government, banks, railways, insurance and industry and so on can be called as organized sector. In India, employees, so those who are working under central and state government, bank, railways, insurance, industry and etc. So they are called as organized sector. So this sector works according to certain rules and regulations mentioned in the law. So the sectors, so they are working under certain rules and regulations. So these organized sectors have some formal process and procedure. So the organized sectors has some formal process and procedure. So these employees in the sector are provided with job security and receive higher wages than those of unorganized sector. So the employees, those who are working in organized sector, so are provided with job security and they receive higher wages, so when compared to unorganized sector. So unorganized sectors, so they won't give high wages, so there is no job security. Organized sector gives good salary, fixed working hours, paid holidays and provides medical allowance and insurance also. So organized sector gives good salary, fixed working hours, paid holidays and provides medical allowance and insurance also. Organized sector, so they have some rules and regulations. So they were controlled by some superior authority or government. Yeah. So they follow some rules and regulations. So they are formal in nature. Yeah. So say for example, so the central and state government job, then banking, railway, insurance, industry, etc. So they provide job, so satisfied job. So they provide their employee with job security and they give high salary, so high wages. So they give good salary, fixed working hour, paid holidays, and provides medical allowance and insurance also. So this is in case of organized sector. So introduction. So what are the basic needs for every human being? Yeah, you have studied in your lower class. So food, cloth, shelter. Yeah, so the basic need for every human being is food, cloth, and shelter. Yeah. So how can you get these things? Yes, in the present world, so one more essential need has to be added in this list. Yes, apart from food, cloth, and shelter, in this world, so in the modern world, one more thing is to be added. So basic need is to be added. So that is employment. So if you get employment means, if you get a job means, you have your food, you have your cloth, you have your shelter. Okay, wow. So employment. So the fourth one, so the basic need for human being is employment. So to survive in the world, we all need employment to earn money. So to survive in this world, we all need job to earn money. So those who are engaged in economic activities, so those who are engaged, those who are involved in economic activities in whatever capacity, so high or low, so they are called as employees. So those who are involved in economic activities, so in whatever capacity, so maybe high or low, so they are called as employees. So people who employ these workers and pay reward for their work are called the employers. So employee means workers. So employers means those who employ those workers and pay reward, so and pay money for their work, they were called as employers. So the basic need for every human being are food, cloth, and shelter. So apart from that, in this present world, one more essential thing is there. Yes, one more essential need is there. That is employment. To survive in this world, we all need employment to earn money. So why we are learning? Why you are studying? So in future to go for a good job. So to get a good job, you are studying. So we can say employment is another important basic need. So those who are engaged in economic activities in whatever capacity, high or low, they are called as employees. People who employ these workers and pay reward for their work are called as employers. Employment structure in India. So the nature of employment in India is multi-dimensional. So some get employment throughout the year and some others get employed for only a few months in a year. So the nature of employment in India is multi-dimensional. So some may get employment throughout the year, and some others get employed only for a few months in a year. So say for example, so the agri workers, so those who depend on agriculture, so they got job only for a few months. So only at the time of cultivation and at the time of harvesting, so the daily wages, so the agriculture wages got job. So the persons, so who goes for a company or any other work, so they were employed throughout the year. So the nature of employment in India is multi-dimensional. So some get employment throughout the year and some others get employed for only a few months in a year. So the economy is classified into three sectors. So already so primary sector, which was also called as agriculture sector, then secondary or industrial sector, then third one tertiary or service sector. So the economic sector is classified into three, so which you have learned in your lower classes. So primary sector or agriculture sector, secondary sector or industrial sector, tertiary sector or industrial service sector. So employment pattern. In recent years, there has been a change in the employment pattern, and this has helped the employers to develop more flexible working patterns among their employees. So in recent years, there has been a change in employment pattern, so and this helped the employers. So employers means those who provide job. So this helped the employers to develop more flexible working patterns among their employees. So the trends are increasing self-employment. So the trend are increasing self-employment. So they want to create their own job. So firms using fewer full-time employees and tending to offer more short-term contract. So firms, the skill using fewer full-time employees. So some used employees for full-time and some used for short-term contract. Then there has been a growth in part-time employment. So there has been a growth in part-time employment. So instead of going full-time employment, so people prefer to go for part-time employment. So this may be due to the change in lifestyle of the people. In recent years, there has been a change in the employment pattern, and this has helped the employers to develop more flexible working patterns among their employees. So the trend are increasing self-employment. So people want to do job for their own. That means they want to run industry. They want to be a owner. So they want to be an employer apart from employee. So firms using fewer full-time employees. So companies sometimes want full-time employees and they tend to offer short-term contract. So they offer contract. They want to offer contract. So short-term contract. Then there has been a growth in part-time employment. So nowadays, so people prefer to go for part-time job. So this is due to the lifestyle of the people. Employment trend in Tamil Nadu. Agriculture, despite a sharp decline in gross domestic product, continues to be the largest employer in Tamil Nadu. Agriculture, so the primary sector. So despite a sharp decline in the gross domestic product, so GDP. So GDP means, what do you mean by GDP? Do you know? So the value of goods and services produced in a country. So the value, that is in rupees or in dollar. So the value of goods and services produced in a country is called as gross domestic product. So the agriculture sector, even though provide a less domestic product, a less GDP value, so continues to be the largest employer in Tamil Nadu. This is because the non-agricultural sectors are yet to generate enough employment to affect a shift of labor force. So why there is largest employment force in agriculture sector when compared to other sector means, so the non-agricultural sectors are yet to generate enough employment to affect a shift of labor force. So most of the employment growth in Tamil Nadu has been contributed by the unorganized and informal sector. So if you take employment trend in Tamil Nadu, agriculture, despite a short decline in gross domestic product, continues to be the largest employer in Tamil Nadu. So mostly half of the working force are involved in agriculture activities. Why means the non-agriculture sectors are yet to generate enough employment to affect, so to attract the labor force. So many people are want to shift from agriculture sector to non-agriculture sector, but the non-agriculture sector, so that sector, so not enough to attract these people. So most of the employment growth in Tamil Nadu has been contributed by the unorganized and informal sector only. So employment in Iruvelpattu, a case study. So what is happening in the employment scenario can be understood not only from the national or state level, but also from the study of the village economy. What was the changes? So what was the change in employment scenario? Can be understood not only by seeing the national or state level, but also from studying the village economy. So Iruvelpattu is one such village in Viluppuram district in Tamil Nadu. So Viluppuram, so which is in east of Tamil Nadu. So there is a village called as Iruvelpattu. This village has been studied for more than 100 years by many scholars. So the Iruvelpattu village has been studied for more than 100 years by many scholars. So this village is also called as Slater village, as Gilbert Slater was the first scholar working in the University of Madras to go with his students to study this village in 1916. So Iruvelpattu village, it is also called as Slater village. Why means in the year 1916. So Gilbert Slater, so the first scholar, so working in the University of Madras, go to this village with his students. Yes, in the year 1916. Over the years, many scholars surveyed the occupation, that is the working pattern of the village peoples, and collected many more details of each person in the village. So initially, first in the year 1916, Gilbert Slater, so who is working in the University of Madras, so went to this village along with his students. So after that, many scholars so surveyed this village and collected many information. It was clearly observed that the government brought social security awareness among the people of the village. So it was clear. So over the 100 years, it was clear that the government brought social security awareness among the people of the village through primary health care, provision of schools, and maintenance of public distribution system, that is ration shop. So though this village underwent many changes, it is still dependent on agriculture as the main occupation. So even though, so government so provide so many awareness, so the people are going for, the people are dependent on agriculture as their main occupation. So from this village we can learn about the employment scenario for the whole country. So this is a model. Iruvelpattu village is just a model. So for more than 100 years, so many scholars are visiting this village and studying the occupation pattern. So first it was started by the Gilbert Slater. So that's why it was called as Slater village. So Iruvelpattu village was called as Slater village. So look at this chart. So you will notice that during 1981, out of 100 families, 24% were engaged in non-agricultural laborers. In 2008, the members of families engaged in such employment increased to 41%. So that is, there is a shift from agriculture sector to non-agriculture sector. So in the year 1981, out of 100 families, so 24 families are involved in non-agriculture work. But in the year 2018, it was increased to 41%. So during 1981 to 2008, the proportion of families engaged in agriculture, involved in agriculture, declined from 34% to 26%. So both as agriculture laborers or cultivators. So that is, it shows that there is a change in people's employment pattern. So they shift from agriculture work to non-agriculture work. So there is a change. So when you compared with 1981 and 2008, so there is a change. So if you take in the year 1981, so agriculture workers, so almost 76% were agriculture workers, just 24% were non-agriculture laborers in the year 1981. But if you take 2008, so agriculture workers, so just 59%, so decreased, so 76 to 59. But if you take non-agriculture workers, so it increased from 24% to 41%. So there is a change in economic pattern. This shows that the people are shifting from agriculture work to non-agriculture work. Okay, okay students, so we have completed this lesson. So very short lesson. So if you have any doubt in this lesson, please contact me. So take your book, so textbook reading. So take page number 295. Read that case study, employment in Iruvelpattu, a case study. So that is your homework. Then, sorry, textbook reading. Then homework. So come to page number 298. So fourth Roman letter, give short answers. First question, what is labor force of the economy? Then second, why are children and old age are not considered for the competition of workforce? So take page number 293. Introduction, second paragraph. So first question answered. So labor force of the economy is the number of people in the country who work and also capable of working. So that is the answer for first question. So labor force of the economy is the number of people in the country who work and also capable of working. Then second question. Same page number 293. Second paragraph. Fifth line. So people who are less than 15 years are considered as children, and person who have crossed 16 years of age are excluded as they are not physically fit to undertake productive occupation. So this is the answer for second question. So read this question and write it. So if you have any doubt, so please contact me. So thank you students. So have a nice day.